Merry Christmas. I hope your holiday is off to a great start. It's early Christmas morning. The kids get me up before dawn, so why not do a quick weather update and give you a bit of a surprise? Some of you seeing that this morning, and we're talking about winter storm watches that are now up for a good part of Pennsylvania. We also have new winter weather advisories out into parts of the upper Midwest, back all the way into the Dakotas, and this is not a good thing. Unfortunately, we're still seeing huge problems across the West. Now, I would say it's probably a good thing into the ski resorts, also for that snowpack that's building across the Sierra. So we are getting some, at least, precipitation where it's been a very rough start. Winter storm watches posted now for New York City Metro, out to Long Island, some, not all the way to the end of the island, far southwest portions here of Connecticut for some snow. Now, once you get further to the south and west, and I think once you get about here, you're starting to run into some precipitation type issues. You may end up with more of a mixed bag across Pennsylvania, and then further to the south and west, especially towards Harrisburg, Philadelphia, State College, back here towards Pittsburgh, you may start as a mix. No winter storm watches for you, but again, this could be pretty impactful here across PA. Further to the north and west, a slew of winter weather advisories for snow here into the UP of Michigan, Wisconsin, back up across Minnesota, all the way back to Fargo and north up to the Canadian border. These are U.S. advisories, and then there's some ice also falling here into northern Montana through this Christmas day. And then again, there's so many warnings in California. I mean, I don't even know where to start here. Winter storm warnings, flood warnings, flash flood warnings. We've been dealing with mudslide problems across Southern California, rock slides. This is going to continue with heavy rain through Christmas Day, unfortunately, and a couple of feet on top of what you've already seen in the mountains with snow. Let's continue this out, and we'll talk about what's ahead, because I think there is a big cool down. So if you're hoping for colder temperatures, you're probably going to see that. If you're loving this warm weather, I'm not going to lie. If you're pretty much anywhere in the south or the east, outside of the northeast, it's been really warm. I don't remember Christmas Eve when I've been out riding my bike. Incredible warmth across, 20, 30 states or so. These are probabilities of seeing temperatures 10 degrees below average, and so you're starting to see this get much stronger now across the south as we head into next week with some colder temperatures. A bit of a rebound, and it looks like we reload again as this cold, I don't want to call it historic, but it's way below average across Western Canada up into Alaska, and we tap into some of that cold and bring it south. So again, Merry Christmas if you're joining the live stream this morning. Hope you're doing well. If you're just catching it on the playback, you can catch this anytime if you miss it. I'm Travis. Welcome to the video. Again, Merry Christmas. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this type of content, and let's track these winter weather events together, and we'll go into spring and talk about severe weather. It's right around the corner. No severe weather today other than the extreme flooding and the big snow falling across California. Here comes our wintry mix dropping through northern parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota tonight. I'm going to let this roll out into Michigan, Pennsylvania. I'm not going to name every state. I say this in just about every video. We'd be here all day if we named them all. So let's go through this quickly. There's that mess moving into the northeast with some ice here into the mid-Atlantic, New Jersey, back into PA. That snow that's moving into the west and rain starts to back off here into California some, but the precip starts to pick up, though, here into the Wasatch. Man, Colorado, I'd love to tell you you're going to get a couple of feet of snow, but you're not. We've just been so dry this year, and it's been a little bit depressing to see some of those, videos coming out of Colorado of the ski resorts. Just terrible to see that when normally you might have a lot more snow than what you're seeing now. There is some snow in the forecast for the next couple of days, which is good news here. Bit of a rebound with temperatures even into the northeast. We're back above freezing, and it looks more like a rain ice mix as we head into Monday with this next area of low pressure that moves like this toward the Great Lakes, pulling up some warm air. Behind it, we're pulling down some cold air, so temperatures on the way down, and this pushes all the way into Texas. If you follow the front, it moves all the way through the Gulf Coast states into Florida, and on the back side of this, the European doing something weird with this snow back across West Texas, back towards El Paso. I don't know. That just looks really weird to me. Makes sense, though. I mean, on the tail end of this front, it's trying to develop some kind of lower pressure with some precipitation, some overrunning moisture. I don't know. We'll see on that. Otherwise, the pattern definitely a little bit colder. However, not much change across the Rockies. I mean, you're going to get some precip for now, and you might get a little more heading towards the second and third, but you're going to kind of go back to a warm pattern, and then you may end up flipping the script a little bit with some precipitation we're looking really far out by the 4th and the 5th. So let's throw all this away. The idea, though, I think, is that things get kind of progressive. Are we looking at more mid-Atlantic type storms? The pattern would support it, I think. More to come on that as the North Atlantic Oscillation kind of gets in more of a favorable phase. Not going to dig into that a lot. I'll be honest with you, I didn't look at it this morning. So let's just keep rolling. It's early. And I've been putting too much stuff together last night. Late night going to bed, early night getting up, or early morning getting up. See, I don't even know what day it is. I know it's Christmas. Okay, snow falling into the Sierra could be heavy at times through the day. Heavy flooding, rain, flooding, and mudslides. Still going to be a problem here across the west. That starts to ease up some as we head into Saturday. More snow falling up here into the northern Rockies, into the Canadian Rockies. And again, we start to pick the snow up into Utah and Colorado as we head into the weekend. And then high pressure sets up and we dry out. This ridge is going to persist into next week. Pretty warm, too. Above average temperatures across this region. And then, again, the relief would probably happen again as we head into the end of next week. Here's a look at your snow. A couple more feet on top of what we've already seen, and we'll spread some more snow for that further to the east. And I'm in the live chat looking at some of you. You're 3 a.m. and you're up. That means you're pulling the I don't know if you're pulling Christmas duty or not. So again, if you're just joining the playback, I'm commenting on some of the comments in the live stream this morning. A little bit of freezing rain up across Montana, southern parts of Alberta, also Saskatchewan, Manitoba could cause some issues. Here's your snow totals further to the north. Again, outside of the mountains, not a lot further south you go, but there could be some decent snow here in northern Alberta over the next couple of days. Here's your Christmas Day temperatures, warm across the west. Let's work our way east. This is where the problems are going to be. The snow and ice problems spread. Again, it's not a lot of ice, but it doesn't take much to cause problems across parts of South Dakota, Minnesota, southern parts of Manitoba, into southern parts of Ontario, International Falls, north of that, just across the border. Icing here. Further north you go, you're going to end up in just all snow. This moves away pretty quickly, and we're watching the next system start to bring some snow here into Idaho, Montana. It doesn't really put a lot here into eastern Montana, eastern Wyoming. Most of this is going to be confined to the mountains, but now we open up the door for this pretty strong Arctic high. Look at 1042, 1043 millibar high oozing south along the plains and cooling temperatures down with a stiff north wind across the plains and the prairies. There's your snow. Not a lot over the next couple of days, at least right here along the U.S.-Canadian border. A couple of inches possible, and some of the models long range are trying to put a little more snow into this region. More to come on that. Further to the south, where it's going to be a beautiful, warm Christmas day. Maybe a few showers, though. I'm backing this up just a little bit here across the Ohio River region, maybe into parts of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, Kentucky. Otherwise, there comes that mix dropping in from the northwest, where we do have those winter weather advisories across a good part of the Great Lakes. Now, into Chicago, it's going to be all rain. Further to the south, Indiana, Indianapolis, all rain for you guys. Behind this, we clear out. Relatively warm, too, with this ridge out ahead of our next cold front that's going to move through. So temperature is going to be pretty warm. And now we're dropping the cold south. Here's something that we've not seen in quite some time. High pressure building south. Your wind's coming in like this. So you almost start to see some upslope snow here into Denver and on the Front Range versus on the west side of the mountains. So maybe we get some snow right along the Continental Divide. That would be good news again here. And then watch this. I think the Europeans just doing something weird here with high pressure here, feeding that air upslope here. I don't know. Looks weird across West Texas. More to come on that. And then let's just let everything roll out. There are a couple of storms I think we have to watch heading into the new year as the pattern gets a little more favorable for winter weather. Hot today. Let's just call it what it is across Texas. 80s. Tonight, lows, mild. Look at that. Barely getting below 70, I should say, right along the Gulf Coast. Highs tomorrow, even warmer. This would likely be the warmest day that we see this week. And thank you so much, Keek, for that super chat. Awesome. Yeah, we'll look into February. That's actually stacked up. We're going to talk about that because it could get really interesting. Thank you so much. Temperatures on the way down, though. It's going to be so warm over the next couple of days, but here comes the real cold. And it's not going to last, though, back across Texas. You're going to get knocked back into the 30s. It's going to be so transient. We're just going to see a progressive pattern warm you guys back up. But another cold blast starts to move in here to the northern plains. Temperatures drop near or below zero. That's cold. So some really Arctic air getting tapped into. Let's talk about the snow that's on the way. Okay, here's the deal. It could be pretty impactful into parts of New York, Pennsylvania, maybe even parts of Connecticut and New Jersey as we head into tonight. This kind of ramps up a little bit. You almost start to see some banding features show up. We'll look at the totals in just a second. Once this goes by, the next system's going to be all rain, so it's going to kind of melt. So don't get too used to it. So there's, I don't want to call it a surprise, but yeah, unfortunately, not as much. It's not going to linger if you're hoping to hang around in the snow. You'll be in the slop as we head towards Monday and Tuesday in the slush. Everything turns cold behind this next system, though. Look at the lake effect picking up from Erie to Cleveland, north up to Buffalo. I don't know. Those bands aren't really favorable for Buffalo. Your wind's coming in out of the northwest. However, we'll get quite a good fetch here off of Lake Huron, Superior, that could enhance that snow into parts of western PA. Another weak clipper system could bring some more snow this way as we head into Friday. We're getting pretty far out around the 1st and 2nd, so more to come. Let's talk about the ice. Big problems here. These are modeled numbers. I want to show you the difference. The European trying to put half an inch of ice down. This is a look at the blended model. Actually, I think that might have been, that was the European. This is the blended model for snow. Again, the best chance for snow will be across Canada, down into southern parts of Ontario. So, you get into Toronto, you could see a couple of inches, and then cross the border into New York. The sweet spot, look at this. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen New York City in the sweet spot for snow with a clipper system. It is this time. Here's a look at your ice. Again, up to 2/10 of an inch across parts of Michigan. It only takes a few hundredths of an inch of ice to cause problems on the road, so be very careful over the coming days. Further to the east, this is actually a map of the forecast touched numbers from the National Weather Service. Notice this big blob of purple. That right there, friends, is more than 6 inches of snow. The official forecast for northern New Jersey, even New York City, 7 inches of snow. Now, whether you're going to see 7 inches of snow or not, I think there's some variables, and here's one of them. So that right there, guys, again, that's the forecast. Get up into Connecticut, those numbers drop off pretty quickly, but you're still looking at a solid 3 to 5 inches of snow here into southwest Connecticut. Danbury, those numbers really go up here once you get towards Poughkeepsie. And again, it's been a long time since I could tell you in New York City, your official forecast is for 7 inches of snow with winter storm watches up this morning, which you've likely seen those if you're in New York. Further to the south and west, those snow totals are going to get eat into. I think here into New Jersey, I think you get back here to Trenton, I mean, maybe even up to Newark. You're getting close to New York, I know, but you might eat into some of these totals as we mix over to some sleet. So that could really cause some forecasting problems here. I think the bust potential is high on the southern side of this. Again, these are touch numbers. That's what the National Weather Service is going with this morning. Here's your ice. These are touch numbers as well. When I say touch, someone asked me that. That meant that a human has evaluated this. So these are their official forecast numbers as of Christmas morning. I mean, look at the ice. This is significant here. Into the mountains of Pennsylvania, western Maryland, you're talking about 3/10 of an inch of ice. That would cause some problems. Maybe some power outages too, something we have to watch. Again, this would be heading into the 26th. And then further to the north and east, this is the blended model data on snow. I want to show you this because remember I showed you the forecast a little bit less, I think, when you look here. However, last night, the NAM doing some NAM things, which here's the thing about the NAM. Okay. Let me back it up. What in the world is the NAM doing on this early morning run? There we go. I just look at this and go, I don't even know what's going on here. I mean, look, this looks nothing. So you talk about a bust potential in New York? Anybody looking at this? We don't have winter storm warnings yet. We have winter storm watches. So this could easily slip away through your fingers and go away. So I say that because not all models are lined up. I like to keep it real. The European on board with a big snow event. Let's go over to the GFS just because, I mean, why not? It's going to crush you with a foot of snow. So, again, at this point, I think you're looking at the national blended model. That's where you want to end up being here because you're going to blend some of these short-range models, and you're kind of seeing some consensus here. But more to come. I will likely do another update Christmas night So if you're not a subscriber, come back and we will look at that. And here are a look at your temperatures through today, into tonight, into tomorrow. Much warmer. I mean, look at this. Even into Ohio, we see temperatures get up into the 60s. It's going to be colder in the Northeast, though. I get it, into the Great Lakes, but warm across the South. We bring this to an end, at least for parts of the Northeast where we got warm, a little bit colder, but that warm air squeezes north up through the Ohio Valley and into the Great Lakes, the Midwest. Temperatures on the way down. Tuesday, this would be your low temperatures, so near or below zero across Wisconsin. Highs on Tuesday struggle to get out of the 20s in many areas. We've got 30s and 40s all the way into the south Tuesday afternoon. Overnight lows in Florida. North Florida probably going to get below freezing, so 30s, 40s, and 50s as that cold pushes all the way. It makes a run up the Gulf Coast. It's been a while into the Atlantic coast since we've seen that across this region. So let's take a look at the long range while we're here, and we'll end here today because I think as we head into January, into February, the weeklies have been showing something really interesting, and that's been colder temperatures. Colder, I think, than maybe what we've been seeing so far. And, here's the deal. Like, I certainly don't want to jump on the cold train and say this is how it's going to end up being forever. We're going to have a nonstop cold winter. We're not. It's just, I think we're going to see too many rebounds over the coming weeks. Once we get into January, here's kind of where we are right now. These are 7-day height anomalies, a good way to sort of look at the pattern. But once we get into next week, into January, things get interesting. Check this out. Much colder. All right. You've got more of a northwest flow. You've got your upper low polar vortex setting here spinning, pulling in some colder air, kind of a cold pattern. I don't know that it's certainly a historic cold, but look, let me show you where it's really cold, and here's where it's really warm. This air up here into Western Canada, if there wasn't this cold air locked up here, I would probably just be like many of you and throw in the towel. There's a lot of cold dropping in, and we're starting to see a piece of that show up on some of the longer range outlooks heading into January. Here's what I don't like across the plains, where it's been very dry. Unfortunately, I think this region stays warm. I think you're going to get some cold shots. This sort of looks like our December setup, right? You've got your northwest flow coming in like this. You've got your cold Arctic air setting up here, and you're just getting these waves of cold that move in. If you watch the earlier outlook from back in the fall, we were talking about how, and this may be a bust here on the East Coast, it may actually be colder than what some of the models were looking, or some of the maps that we put together back in September and October looked like. But let's be real, we're looking 3 months down the road, and we're still looking pretty far out. But now, look at this. These are European ensemble weeklies, 7 days prior to the date that you see. So this would be the 7-day averages, 7 days before January 22nd. Notice how we're seeing a lot of cold here in the east, central U.S., a lot of warmth. This is a little bit different. So maybe there's some hope for some precipitation into the west. As you get a little bit colder, you're going to get more snow and more rain. That's just how it works. And then once we get into February, we're really far out. Here's where I think there's starting to be some changes. A little bit warmer up across Alaska and the Northwest Territories. My question is, does that mean we tap in to what that upper level pattern says and we bring that cold air further to the south? So January into February, I mean, look, these are 7-day averages, looking colder in the east, across the west, a little bit colder. And boy, doesn't this look like what we're dealing with right now? Not a lot of changes. Pretty wild to see. Again, it's long range. I might just take all of what I just said and throw it away because don't expect this to be an exact snow forecast or cold forecast for your backyard. These are the trends. And the trends to me at this point look colder here than what we started meteorological winter. Winter is only officially a few days in, right? And then warmth across the central U.S. All right, that's all I got for this Christmas. It's the live stream version. Thank you. Hope you have a great Christmas day wherever you are, and we'll see you next time.